is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. I say another one because it's only been a week since the last one. Before that, it was kind of a month in between videos. We finally got some FPL kind of content to talk about. So there has been some breaking news, or at least breaking in terms of yesterday. By the time this video goes out, it will be Friday, so everyone will have heard about it already. But the Premier League will restart on the 17th of June. Now, the Premier League have basically come out and said that. They have said, I think the head of the Premier League did say, it all depends on whether they can meet the health guidelines and stuff like that. So if there's obviously still a lot to work out. This is an unprecedented situation for the Premier League. Lots to work through. So if they can work it out, then the 17th of June is when the Premier League will restart. So we know that now. It's only like 19 days until it restarts. So it's not very long. The players are back training. The players are allowed to do contact training as well. So they can make tackles and, shoulder to shoulder and all that stuff, I presume. Which is obviously what's going to happen in a real match. So it's good that that can happen. Obviously, they're being tested regularly. I guess a lot of that will depend on whether they can continue with this restart, how many players get tested and come back positive, etc. But so far, the numbers seem quite small. I'm not an expert by any stretch, but it seems kind of, I hate to use the word positive, but encouraging, I guess, is probably the better word for how it's going so far. So it does look like it's going to start on 17th of June. So just going to talk about some other news that we've had with that. As well as then talk about potential wildcards for everyone, how FPL might reopen and stuff like that. If you've been on Twitter, you'll see this is all over Twitter at the moment, people discussing this. I don't really have a massive opinion either way, but I do see some points for why maybe we should have a wildcard coming back. So you can let me know in the comments below what you think, but hear me out before you make a comment, and I'll just talk about the other news that we've got as well. So the other small bits and pieces, so a few people have been worried that FPL might not even restart. To me, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen because they already mentioned the chips in that little update where they said that all the remaining chips would be essentially usable whenever the league came back. Now, we still don't have official confirmation that FPL is coming back, and my gut assumption is they won't say anything until the Premier League absolutely says it's met all the guidelines, it will be back on the 17th. And then it can roll from there. But Olivia tweeted out, who's one of the presenters for FPL, says, so excited the Premier League's back. That means official FPL is back. So whether or not she was supposed to say that, I don't know. But we're going to be seeing her face because she's going to be creating content for FPL, which is good. That means it's going to be back for us. Other news that come out, and this was put out by loads of journalists. Basically, all 92 games that are left in the season will be live in the UK. Now, some will be free. Even Sky Sports have said they're going to put some out for free. The BBC are getting 4 matches. Amazon Prime and BT Sport will all have them. And the kickoff times, to be honest, are just ridiculous. For a weekend, there's going to be 1 game on Friday, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday, and 1 on Monday. Now, a lot of people will be absolutely loving that. To be honest, I'm never going to watch 10 whole matches every single weekend, but it's great to have the choice that you don't have to watch that really boring like Burnley versus, I don't know, Sheffield United match. If you want to watch all the big 6 play, or if you want to watch your team versus some of the big matches, then the choice is going to be there. So that's good as well. So there's going to be plenty of football when it does come back. And from what we can see, FPL is definitely going to be back as well. Okay, so before we get into the wildcard discussion, I should say one of the other kind of rumours that's come out is that Aston Villa versus Sheffield United and Man City versus Arsenal will be the fixtures played on the 17th of June. Now, the 17th of June is a Wednesday. That's obviously when they've said the restart's going to happen. And the idea with getting Villa and Sheffield United and Man City and Arsenal out of the way is they're the 2 teams with extra fixtures, or the 4 teams, I should say, with extra fixtures. They would have been the double game weeks, basically. Now, under normal circumstances, we would have had more double game weeks. Obviously, there's no need for that now. They can just plan them out to play every single week. So from an FPL point of view, not as exciting, but I guess the Premier League aren't really worrying about that. But it does look like the 17th of June will be those 2 extra fixtures. So there's 2 things that are probably going to happen there. I can't really see anything else happening. Either that will be a separate game week that FPL will put on. Whether they go back to game week 30 and add that back in, or add a game week 39, I just don't know. But it sounds like that will be a game week. So either they play those 4 or those 2 matches from those 4 teams in that game week alone, in which case it's a very, very big blank game week, or it gets added on to the next lot of games and then becomes a double game week. Now, we knew the double game week was going to happen, but it wasn't going to happen this early from an FPL point of view. So I've talked about before that there's going to be a potential for a wild card for everyone. A lot of people saying that's not going to happen. To be honest, I don't really have a strong opinion either way of whether it should or shouldn't happen. I would kind of side with it should happen. I'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. So this kind of blew up on Twitter. FPL Twitter were back. Not much to talk about in terms of after the announcement. So we're all talking about this wild card. And I replied to a tweet by FPL General who said, should we get a wild card when FPL returns? And I basically said, it depends how mixed up the fixtures are. If they're not mixed up, then no. We knew what they were going to come and be. If they're slightly different, probably not, although again, I probably would side towards yes. And if they're completely changed, then yes, I do think we should get a free wildcard to change our teams about. Not only has there been 2 or 3 months off football, there's been a global pandemic none of us could have, could have even thought about. And there's going to be a load of players back from injury who we couldn't have considered before as well. So lots has changed. Like, this is completely unprecedented. So why not have a chance for everyone to make unlimited transfers? Now, a couple of things to talk about with this. One, it has happened before. There was a time, I can't remember which season it was very early on when I started playing, either 2010, 2011 or 2011, 2012. And basically the site went down before game week 1 deadline. Now, it was only like an hour or so, but people couldn't get on to make their final decisions. Now, a lot of people, even at the time, then said, well, you've had months, basically, or weeks to get your team sorted. Why did you leave it to the last minute? That doesn't matter. You have up until the deadline. You should be able to log in up until that deadline and make your transfers. So when that happened in game week 2, we all got a wildcard. Now, one thing to clarify here, because a lot of people seem to be maybe not misunderstanding, but don't get what I'm trying to say when I say a free wildcard. One, I'm not saying only those that use their wildcard get it back. If people get one, everyone gets one. And two, I'm not saying you get a wildcard back to use when you want, so that I don't have to use it straight away. I could use it in 3 weeks, game weeks time. It will be a wildcard at the start of the season, like a normal season, unlimited transfers. Nothing more than that. After that, I won't have another wildcard, neither will anyone else that's used theirs. Everyone that has used theirs, or hasn't used theirs, will get the unlimited transfers and then be able to use a wildcard later on. So I do want to clarify that, and I'll bring up the next image where I do say that. But I do think a lot of it does depend on the fixtures. So basically, someone replied to me and said this: just give everyone unlimited transfers for the returning game week. And I did reply, say, yeah, maybe others are thinking different, but this is what I mean with a potential wildcard. Not to use one whenever you want, but basically unlimited transfers. So it would be like the start of a season. And I don't really see a massive issue with that. I do get there's lots of points of view to consider with this. So it's not fair, I planned. That's fair enough, but I don't think anyone could have planned for a global pandemic. I'm not going to be putting that into my chip strategy when I start making videos for next season. I get it, you planned. The thing is, I planned too that I wasn't going to use a free hit in game week 31, so I set my team up to get past that. Well, now if the fixtures are mixed up, that puts me and others in a bad position. If the double game week comes back straight away, or it's a blank game week, which would be even worse, then yes, I've got a free hit. I'll just free hit in that game week. I'll get players from those 4 teams, 3 from each, and bench 1 or whatever. And that's fine. Then I'll just set up my team for the rest of the season and make transfers based on whatever the fixtures are going to be. But what if people haven't got a wild card or a free hit? It's not fair on them that suddenly they built their team for game week 30, what it would have been, and then bam, they've got a double game week or a blank game week to consider. So it's not just for those people. If you've got a free hit or a wild card, then absolutely fair enough. If you haven't, then it's harsh on those people. And I've got a free hit, so realistically, I'm fine. Okay, if the fixtures are completely mixed up, then maybe my team needs a few transfers. I don't mind taking some hits. And it's got to be said, I don't really care what my rank is now at the end of this season, because it's just been all over the place. Getting hacked, and now this. Who knows what players are going to come back. We don't know what form's going to be like and all that stuff. Will players care? Will they play the same as before? We just don't know that. So I'm not really too bothered how the rest of my FPL season turns out. But still, there's people that will and people that have planned. So I do get that. And then it's not fair. People have been able to make transfers. Well, I made transfers, yes, based on the fixtures as they were, or what fixtures teams had left. But I did make some transfers. And, you could say this is my own fault. For players that had some good fixtures, but some pretty bad ones as well. So I didn't want to risk that we would come back with bad fixtures. And so I got rid of them. And again, you could just say, well, that's the risk you took when you made those transfers. Other people thought, hey, there's a pandemic going on. I don't really care about FPL now. They probably didn't even think that FPL was going to be happening and be able to make those transfers. Because not everybody, remember, there's 7 million accounts. Okay, they're not all active. There's probably, 2 or 3 million active accounts before this all happened. I doubt all of those people are keeping track of all the stuff that's going on. They thought, pandemic, I'll stop, I'll wait for it to come back. They've probably made no transfers. So again, they're probably not in a good position going back. And it the thing with giving the wildcard or giving unlimited transfers, it kind of levels the playing field for everyone. People with a wildcard who are saying, well, I planned, it's not fair on me. But then you get another wildcard, that's perfect. So you can set your team up based on whatever the fixtures are for the next 3, 4, 5 game weeks. And then bam, you can switch that whole team with another wildcard. You're still in a better position. Granted, over 9 game weeks, it's probably tougher to take advantage of that, essentially. But you're still in a better position than someone without that wildcard already. So I think that's I don't know if there's a huge amount more to discuss with this. I'm just having a look at some of the notes I made because I got quite a few tweets about it. What about those that plan for a free hit into a wildcard? So some people would have planned for a game week 31 free hit, so kind of mess their team up to not worry about game week 31. Well, what if those fixtures come in now and they got no players they want for that? What if people used all their chips as a blank or double game? That's kind of what I said already, and it's not fair. I mean, I think that it's not fair. I do get it, but it's been months without football, and there has been a pandemic. Like, if you can't have that as unprecedented circumstances to why you maybe give people unlimited transfers, and I don't know when you ever would. And again, I'm not really saying I'm bothered either way. Like, this is all ifs and buts. So I could have waited to make this video until the fixtures came out. But let's say the fixtures do come out and they're in exactly the same order as they were before, then fair enough. You probably don't give unlimited transfers, but I would still like to see that happen because I just think it's a bit more fun. And you've got all those players like Rashford and Son and Kane that are going to be back, which you can take a punt on. Now, I get it. I don't have a wild card, so there's going to be a lot of people watching this now saying, you're just saying that because you don't have a wild card. And fair enough. Like, if you're one of those people, these probably aren't the videos you should watch. I tend to try and not be too biased. If I'm biased towards Man United, I always say it. But I'm not. I think I can't say for sure. I don't think there's going to be another pandemic like this for me to test it on. But if I had a wild card, I still think I'd probably be arguing for the wild card. I think I would always want that choice to make unlimited transfers and then have another one. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure you're going to let me know in the comments below. Just to give you some examples, though, of transfers I made, and I'm sure other people have got similar stories. So, Danny Ings, I kind of kept him because I thought if there's a fixture every single week, he can probably play them. But if now they're doing, I think there's 9 weekends left. There's 9 matches apart from the 14s with extra games. And I think there's going to be 6 weekends and 3 midweeks. Now, Ings has had a big rest, so maybe he can play all of them. But before, around Christmas, we knew that he was going to get rotated if there was games in quick succession. So had I known that, maybe I would have transferred him out rather than keep him. Dean Henderson, I took out because he only had 9 fixtures once you took that Man United game out. And his double game week wouldn't have been as soon as we come back in game week 30. So I got rid of him. But now, potentially, he has got a double game week straight away. Well, I just got rid of him because of the fixtures. In the original fixtures, they weren't playing this double game week in game week 30. So I've got rid of him. But now, if he's got a double in the opening game week, I kind of want him back. So I've made transfers and maybe put myself into a disadvantaged position. And again, you can say that's my fault. I didn't have to make those transfers, and fair enough. But I just think it all points to being... I actually think it's probably more fair to let everyone get onto a level playing field. And if you've got a wild card, you can literally just put players in for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 game weeks, absolutely nail those fixtures and players, and then switch for the last 3 or 4 game weeks. And one thing I've not mentioned is we don't know what players are going to be like, who's going to be in form and stuff. So let's say we get unlimited transfers, we put a team together, and then actually we realise half of our team's rubbish. Those players ate too much, didn't train enough, and not able to get back into fitness and form. Those with a wild card can just switch them out and get the players that are in form. Maybe they get Rashford's son, whoever it might be. And so I still think they're just at an advantage either way. And I do think it's just more fun to get unlimited transfers. Look, it's been a horrible period for everyone. And I'm not saying that period is not over. I think everyone realises that. But the football being back is kind of almost like a relief. It's just something to look forward to. So give us unlimited transfers. It's going to be more fun. Get the season done with. And it'll all be over anyway. We won't worry. I get it. If you're in like cash mini leagues and stuff, then maybe it's a bit different. Maybe you want to stick to how it is. I've seen a lot of people saying they would just cancel the money leagues if there's unlimited transfers. But again, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone is going to get to make those transfers if it happens. Either way, I'll leave it there. I think I've rambled on enough. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Should everyone get a wild card, i.e. unlimited transfers, before the game picks up again or not? Let me know why as well, because I'm really interested in opinion. Like, I'm not massively for, even though I do think that's the way it should go. I'm not. If it doesn't happen, I won't be annoyed about it. I'll just get on with it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you're new around here. Once the fixtures are out, once we know what FPL are doing, the content on here will be kind of non-stop right up until the season starts and then during the season. So make sure you do subscribe. I will catch you next time. Cheers all.